Hello, I'm Enzo, and today I'll be playing TerraTech. And in this episode of TerraTech Builds, I'm going to be going over something a little bit different. Normally, I would do a huge tech to show off, but in this episode, it's going to be a little bit shorter. These are interesting. For a long time in TerraTech, even before I built aircraft carriers, I had an interest in one thing: turret gun mounts. This isn't like a normal gun where it rotates around and focuses on the enemy. This is a tech placed on another tech that can aim a gun that can't be rotated. Perhaps the greatest example of this is the Mark III battleship cannon. This is a really powerful cannon, but it has one issue: it can't rotate, meaning you either have to build a tech that can rotate it or aim it yourself by moving. So this is the first attempt. I know, it looks bad because it is. Pretty much my first thought for how to make something like this was using bearings like this. Yeah, bearings, poles, see if that did anything. No, it doesn't. It creates an abomination. Same can be said for the second one, just in slightly larger scale. These were both complete failures, as you can see. The AI doesn't really know how to use a system like this. Then we come to this. This is not my design. I did not build this. I got it from the Steam Workshop. It's called the KV6 Heavy Tank. It's a really unique tech. But the main reason I got it is because of the turret mounts. I saw these turret mounts and I was amazed that something like this could work. So I'll show this off pretty quickly. Yeah, so some of these do fall in place. You have to manually kind of push them for some others. These are supposed to look like battleship or, well, light cruiser guns technically, but they don't fire. These things are just decoration. They do have some of the battleship cannons in here. This one has missiles, this one has missiles, and I believe one of them, has railguns. So it's a very cool design. So we need a target. I think this will do. And the cool thing is, our guns aim. You know, wait a minute. I shouldn't have destroyed that. Alright, so how do these things work? I have no clue. I'll be completely honest. I've played TerraTech for a very long time, and the tech surrounding these things confuse me more than anything. It uses venture landing gear to kind of snug its way into the gun. And yeah, it uses a bunch of crazy stuff in here. Stuff I don't like using because it's a little buggy, but the only real thing you have to watch out for in here, if I can find it, I have to be careful not to destroy it. Well, it actually appears I did destroy it somewhere back in here. Anyways, in TerraTech, there's a pretty cool bug. I think it's called the jump bug or something like that. Jump bug glitch. And it pretty much has to do with this. This pretty much decreases the weight of the tech. Okay, so this is a little tech I built to demonstrate this. How it works is it pretty much confuses the game into thinking you're on the ground, so you have to hover infinitely. We use a little hover pad and a wheel. Usually the hub wheel is the best. Okay, so we haven't stabilized it, but did something seem odd to you guys? Something seemed a little weird here. Yeah, this gets really buggy. I think those are passives. No, those are actives. Yeah, this gets very weird. I'm not going to go too much into detail about how this works, just know it exists. This is what allows these to be way lighter than they should be. And I believe it's also part of the fact that they stay on the tech most of the time. What I want to go over next is the difficulty with this system. This uses a venture missile launcher to kind of snug itself into and mount the gun. That's cool, as long as you're not firing the guns. I think you see our first issue. The guns have a tendency to hop off their mounts. Even when I've tried this on other techs, it still hops off. And it's even worse on larger techs, like hovering techs. So, unique idea, I love it, but you can't have any other guns. These have to be the only guns that fire on the tech. But your missile launchers shoot, so that's your main issue. Still, this is the idea that gave me inspiration to figure the whole thing out. So, amazing design. So how these work is you have two techs, your base and your turret. The turret does not do any of the aiming. You with the mount, aka our venture missile launcher here, does the aiming. This is just here to shoot guns. So if we make this tech an enemy real quick, I'm talking about the plane, it'll go towards us, but our guns will move towards it because we're aiming this tech. And everything else is trying to shoot at it. Alright, pretty cool. But this isn't a great system because of the before mentioned sliding off the tech because missiles. This is just another attempt. This is one of my homemade solutions, and this is another version, but this is one of those I just kind of stole and made my own. This is another version. It looks terrible because it is. Yeah. Okay, I went off the deep end a little bit here. I want to see if I could use one of these as a mount. I was wrong, if you can't tell. This is a terrible design, don't know how I thought of it, don't know why it exists. This was just a slight improvement of the last design, made to go on the Mark V heavy autocannon, which is another modded weapon. So also doesn't work. At this point, I looked and did some research. Most people use a 4x4 kind of cavity and this Axis shotgun, which I absolutely hated because it has the tendency to slide off. So no. But then I figured out what's like an Axis shotgun and venture missile launcher. The GSO missile launcher. This is the solution to every one of my problems right here. But I will say, this has problems of its own. First of all, well, to mount any one of these, it's a huge task. But just like angling this so barely correct and sliding it on is really annoying. You have to be at a perfect angle. I mean, with a design like this, you can usually just take off the geocorp panel and angle yourself and then put it back on and it'll all snap. Like, it's a perfect fit. Absolutely perfect fit. And there you go, you have a mounted gun. It's not center. Don't know why that was put there. It has some weird centering issues. I've never really figured that out. There you go. That's the closest you'll get to a mounted gun. For now. Let's test it. Alright, I could just place down some platforms and turn them to enemies and we won't have a threat. But let's see how it does against our Super Hornet. Lots of Super Hornets have been destroyed. Oh. There's your answer. I'll need to try that again. I was gonna say, a lot of Super Hornets were destroyed during testing, but also a lot of these. Yep. I forgot how powerful these guns were. What are these, AP? Yep. Armor piercing. They deal quite a bit of damage to exposed stuff. So let's try this again. And it'll just rotate. I didn't have to touch anything. It's an automatic turret. Now, this was one of my earliest designs, trying to figure out how everything worked in the first place. But I'm very glad I managed to figure out a real mounting system. How does this mounting system work? Well, I had to show it off right here. Now, it doesn't go in all the way, but it goes most of the way, which is good enough. I use these two because it sandwiches it just barely enough to keep it a perfectly tight fit, meaning it will actually not fly off during even like a hover tech. I've used this thing on a hover tech with insane conditions, and it still hasn't fallen off. So it's a really good design. The other thing you may be wondering is what happens if you fire the missiles? Nothing. This isn't a very powerful missile launcher, and this is a very heavy turret. Those turrets are also very heavy, but they had anti-gravity, or the bug that allows you to make your text lighter, and that's another reason I believe they keep falling off. But the big thing is the pure fire rate of the venture missile launcher is what I believe caused that. What's this abomination, you ask? This is Purifier. Scrapped Evolver weapons with this ugly turret on it. I even had to flatten that part to allow this turret. Now, this was my first version of a turret. The whole idea was put a bunch of batteries in it. I have chargers on this tech, but I thought put as many batteries as possible. Now, I think I positioned it correctly if I just use the right. Maybe. It's probably backwards a little bit. And boom, slides right on. A little bit difficult to aim, yes, but you get what you get. And it's, yeah, it's a 2x2. Right, kind of forget about that mistake. But whatever, we have a mounted gun. Let's see if I can shoot something with it. Most of our guns are just in place, but I want to shoot the jump bug thing, see how it reacts. One of our other turrets is aiming for it. We can see how well that worked. And it can't hit it. We have to do some aiming. So there's quite a few issues. Oh, come on. I gotta angle it down to be able to hit it. That's just sad. There we go. Alright, so what went wrong with this design? Everything. This is a abomination. Would be putting it lightly. This thing is just packed full of batteries and armor. Yeah. Okay, so my whole plan here was if I had a bunch of batteries, then it wouldn't ever die. Well, I was wrong about that. These turrets, there's only one major issue with them. Sure, you can have cool firing angles and you don't have to fire yourself. The issue with it is they have very limited survivability. These things are easy to destroy. Like, easy to destroy. One decent gun hit and they're just dead. Nothing you can do about it. So that's why I tried to reinforce this one. I even tried to reinforce the gun barrels, but that didn't work out so well. So yeah, not my greatest design ever. But still, this is proof. And if I turn around, we don't have anti-gravity, so we won't be able to reach max speeds, but we can still do pretty good, I believe. Purifier's just slow with turning. Besides that, you can fire your missile launcher all you want. I believe it can stabilize itself. I don't know if I put stabilization inside or not. But anyways, I mean, look, we're firing our missile launcher and it is not moving. Pretty neat. So my absolute favorite part about these gun mounts is that you can mount them to literally any other tech that has the right mounting system on it. For example, this gun. These are 2 extra turrets I made. I made them today. I'm really proud of them. They don't have amazing survivability, but I've tried to fix that in multiple ways here. This is the first one. They both use the same battleship cannons. These, like I said earlier, are insanely powerful but cannot move. Oh yeah, they have an insane amount of recoil. So this one has a very interesting design. Most notably, there's no block here. It's just the gun. Technically, I should have made it one longer and put the gun further with a block there to block the thing, because then the gun's going to be weird angled. Yeah, but you know what? This just looks cool. And you can change this to any other gun, which I'll be showing off in a minute. So to mount one of these, it's not an easy task. Normally, I take, well, 5 blocks, technically. You gotta remove a piece so you can actually place the block on it. Get the right angle, and make sure it goes up high enough to reach beyond the mount. Get very confused on which way is which, and here's the fun part. I also angled it perfectly. For some reason you drift. Oh, that was perfect. Awesome. I've never mounted one of these on Purifier yet. Just saying, maybe that's not a great sign. You have to set to defend, and we need a target. Unfortunately, Purifier is very high up, and this is the lowest the ship can go to. Alright, well, Alan started firing. That's a good sign. But yeah, this thing one-shots pretty much anything. I kind of want to see how it works on the tank itself now. We'll leave the rest of the turrets to clean up. Or we can see the side angle. I don't think it... No, it cannot aim that low. Other issue with this gun is that every single one of those guns reloads individually. And so sometimes, like this now, they'll fire at different times just because TerraTech. Do I even still have vision? I don't know how long it is before... Alright, I guess not. I should also mention this thing has absolutely zero stabilization. And it's one to the right. Yeah, it's a little bit off center. Now, whenever you're trying to change multiple techs to be enemies, it's a little bit difficult because they'll start firing at each other. Turret, you want to defend me, please? Nice! Oh, that's kind of beautiful. Can we not destroy my other turret, please? Alright, so one has Venture missile launchers. Okay, so this one's a bit more of a pain than I was expecting. Seems like it's even unbalancing my own battleship gun. Haha, there we go. That shows you the true power of these cannons when they can actually hit something. Man, this thing's just rude though. Looks like it's gotten some armor off. Uh-oh. I think it's gotten more than armor. Well, okay. The gun was destroyed, but to be fair, we had absolutely zero heal or shield bubbles. Man, that tech was annoying. Alright. Well, that was interesting. We definitely needed the shield and repair bubbles to be on for that to work. But while I'm here, I might as well show, I don't remember how I built this exactly. Kind of just carved out some space in Purifier and yeah, put a few, I believe there's more here. Yeah, put some of these chargers in it. That's pretty much the only way you can charge one of these. I can use Venture ones here too because they have very, very fast charge rate, but at a very low range, which would be almost perfect for one of these. But that's for future design. This was merely just a test bed for the technology. Alright, well it's very rudely firing at me still, but this is kind of the other turret I made. I accidentally dragged it out here. It looks like I'm gonna have to fight using it. Thankfully, anti-air guns are kind of overpowered. And more than enough for this job. Oh, never mind. So before I take my revenge, I'm gonna kind of show off. This is basically the exact same thing, but I removed some of the armor. Now this turret has very unique items on it. These are items I reviewed in the mod review. Flare dispensers and an anti-air gun. The flare dispensers divert missiles either to the left or right, and it's incredibly effective. I didn't believe it at first, but this thing survives so much longer if you have missile prevention like this. Anti-air? Well, it's kind of self-explanatory. It's to shoot down aircraft. Anyways, see if I can destroy this. Alright, our guns don't really have range, but they have power, and that's all that really matters here. Just need to get a little bit closer. Nice. Yeah, normally if you're mounting on like a smaller tech at least, one that isn't the size of Purifier, or the height of Purifier, then I think you're pretty good. And there you can see how the guns just decide to fire whenever they want. The first shot you can usually get is pretty well, okay. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways, you guys get the idea. Anti-air prevention turret. Now you've seen these, you can kind of tell the design here. You can put pretty much any gun you want here. And my first thought was really bad. What if you just put a bunch of these? Armor piercing, shield piercing. Does anything ever get past you? There's still something alive over there. Not for long. Hold on, I gotta test the power of this. Now, I very rarely use the testing apparatus, but this place is insanely useful. Okay, maybe I should remove those wheels. What's the damage? Yeah, that. That's just one of the small applications that you can use this mounting space for. Plus, this is just one of my designs. There's pretty much infinite possibility for making these turrets. What if we had the same battleship cannon design? Alright, kind of underwhelming. These are really powerful guns, sure, but these are armor and shield piercing, which are way more powerful than normal explosives. Other potential ideas. Mount a Big Bertha cannon to it. There you go. That's actually not too much more. I kind of expected a bit more than that. But still, you can mount guns that don't move normally on here. Other great example. This. Oh, this is cursed. But wasn't aligned properly. Now, imagine this. You just have a mounted turret swing towards you with this armament. What are you supposed to do? You can't run because it's going to follow you. And a very fun fact, the original reason I wanted to make these was to mount one of these Yamamoto guns. The reason for that is because these things do not swing 360 degrees. Or 180, 360, whatever. They refuse to. Other potential uses, like the heavy tank, you could use it as a missile guidance system. Now, missiles are much more volatile than normal cannons, so one good hit to your missiles and boom, that turret is actually dead. Nothing you can do. One of my other ideas was this. Using these larger hull-mounted guns, these are a little bit overboard. I could maybe mount one of those in a crazy turret. That might be for a very good video later, though. These are a bit more reasonable. Perhaps I can do something about these. Actually, this is a way better idea. This is a rough draft of using larger hull-mounted guns to put in one of these turrets, which do an insane amount of damage. And I'm definitely planning to use these new turret systems on future ship techs. That's the whole reason I designed this entire system. Because normal guns, sure, they're cool, but like, it gets boring if I have every single tech have the exact same guns. So I wanted something different. I wanted a new, unique mounting system. So survivability, that's something I really wanted to talk about here. Alright, well I guess the missile just rejects the flares. That's neat. Normally flares do work, but these missiles are actually really smart for some reason. They weren't doing this earlier. They totally got distracted by the flares earlier. Well, whatever. These new turrets that I built can take a little bit of a beating, at least. There you go. And the anti-air defenses are amazing against aircraft. Yep, now the flares are working. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. That's just how they're developed. Oh, but we took a really bad hit there. I feel like I'm about to get spawn camped. Huh. And the power gauge says from approximately 3 missile hits, that takes 1 bar of energy per, pretty much. And the batteries were completely full. So that's kind of just something to gauge the pure defense of these turrets. However, we hadn't talked about guns. These things are insanely easy to destroy with guns. Alright, something I just wanted to try to determine future viability of these. Huh. It can take a Yamamoto cannon shot. I'll give it that. That's pretty impressive. Can't take 2, obviously. But not many things can take 1 shot from this gun. That's amazing. Well anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I just wanted to make a quick little video to show off potentially what could be coming for my TerraTech build videos in the future. So, this is going to be Enzo from LookIntoGaming, signing out.